All right, let's do some discussions on encapsulation. This is the first one of two that I want to present. The first one is a modification on the person class. So the first thing you need to do is actually open the picture project. So if I clicked on that post, right, take a look at the post, it's right here, 12.6. You have the instructions over here. When I finish the video, I will definitely post it over here. So it will help you through the process. I think it's important that you understand what we're doing. And if you have questions, and as somebody who maybe is not giving you an answer that you feel satisfied about it, that it makes sense in terms of whatever we discuss, I think it's important that you ask me or email me. I think I'm approachable. I don't know. Anyways, let's talk about how we're going to do this. So open the project for picture over here. I have it. We did already some work on that. And I think you know how to use this so far, right? So what are we doing next? I want to show how encapsulation has an effect on all of this. What is the importance of encapsulation? Do we really need to have encapsulation? So let's take a look at something that happens because of encapsulation, and then we decide if it's important or not. Not in this one, but in the next assignment that is using a driver. Here, we're not going to use the driver. We're going to use the class, and we're going to use the object bench. We do that because we're still at this point over here, which is part one. I remember what I said in part two, we're not using that. But this is just to confirm the reason why I like to use BlueJade for this, because I'm going to ask you to make some changes to an object and see how that happens, especially when we have encapsulation. Now, encapsulation again is a concept, and in which it says that everything that is related to the instance field, the data itself of the class, has to be handled by the methods, because the methods know what to do. The typical example, once again, is having a friend over, and your friend wants to have something to drink, and instead of letting your friend go and help himself or herself to a drink in the refrigerator, you do it yourself because you know the rules of the house. You know how things should be handled. You know how to avoid trouble with the rest of the family. And you also want to make sure that your friend, doesn't get accused of anything bad, let's put it that way. So that's the whole idea of encapsulation. It's kind of following procedures that are in place. So how do we do that in an example? Now I've been talking about this quite a number of times, and I talk about this in AP class, and even in AP, that still's lingering in terms of concepts. So there's nothing better than actually apply it to really understand it. So we're going to create an object of a person. We're going to call that object Bobby. So I'm going to create first a landscape. I'm going to call it my home. And just like we learned before, to be able to see this, we draw it. And here it is. Here's my home. This project is missing the sundown, right? I just took the original, but you probably have something, the sun is actually going down. And then I'm going to create a person in this landscape. And the way I create the person is just like you learned before, which is using the new keyword that calls the constructor. So I'm going to call this Bobby. And so for me to be able to see Bobby in this picture, I need to make it visible. So I go to that menu of all the methods that are available, and I call this the members of the class. And so make it visible is right here. And there's Bobby. Where is actually Bobby created in terms of the location in the window? To know that very well, I mean, accurately, we will need to look at the code. So let's do that. Look at the constructor. The constructor is not taking any argument. So every object of person would always be created the same. That's another reason why we like to have encapsulation, because the objects will always be created at least in one particular way. Let's say we have only one constructor and all the instance fields related to that particular data for that person have a specific values already initialized. So if we look at the position, it starts at 280 for X and 190 for Y. And if we look at the image itself, we can see that that is in fact, there we go. Let's take a look. Let me bring it over. We can see it better from here. So, and we have the colors. Of course, it was invisible when we created, we had to make it visible. So all these behaviors, methods, they all refer to the way we handle the data that belongs to that class. And every object from that class will be created the same, but you can make changes to it. And the only way you can make changes to it is by using the members of the class, in this case, the behaviors. So let me put this up a little bit because I want to call in the instructions. And so the following instructions are, you need to answer these questions. There are 2 sets of questions. And I want to ask you to also submit screenshots. So the first part is, using the create an object, name it Bobby. Questions: how did you place Bobby on the bottom left corner of the window? So when we first started, we have it that is on the bottom right corner of the window. And we would like to place it over here, right here, anywhere here. So we know that the position is 280 for X and 190 for Y. So how would you get Bobby placed on that particular location, which is the bottom left corner of the window? So on question number 3, part A, that is the question. How do we get Bobby there, right? Is there a better way to do this? Well, when you respond to part A, you will have to do a couple of things. And so my question part B is, how would you do that in a better way? So make sure you tell me how you do it over here, the way things are, and we can look at what Bobby, actually the class person, how would you actually move, place, whatever you want to call it, Bobby, this particular person, which is an instance of the class person, in the left corner when it was created on the bottom right corner. So that's question number 3. That would lead us in question number 4. We know that, like I said before, every object of person, whatever name you give it to that object, would always be created over here. Now, can I create an object, in this case, Bobby again, at the bottom left corner of the screen? Before, on question number 3, Bobby was created on the bottom right corner. Question number 4, part A, I want to be able to create an object of person in a different location. How would you do that? Is that possible? The way person is written, could that be possible? Make sure that you do explain this. And if you achieve to do that change, I want the code and I want the screenshot of that. What is next? Once you did that, right? I don't know exactly how you would do it, and I will leave it to your imagination and understanding of the code and understanding of the things that we talk about, the video, myself, about object-oriented design. Then I'm going to ask you to actually do that, create an object of person called Bobby on the bottom left corner of the window with only one instruction. So let's make the distinction between the two of them. This one, part A of question four is creating an object on already a different location than the original. And that should lead you to one specific method that has a very specific name, and that is the same, I'm giving you a hint, as the name of the class. So to do that, what would you have to be able to do that, to create this object of person already in the bottom left corner of the window? What would have to happen? What would have to be different? What would you have to add to it, maybe? But in the second part, it's not really the case. The case in the second part is that it was created on the bottom right corner, and now I would like to place it in on the left side, which is pretty much similar to this, but again, I'm asking you for only one instruction. So you might end up answering question 3 and 4, part B, very much alike. What it will make the difference is that A, for the two questions, is a little bit different. And that's because I'm addressing a different kind of method that has a specific name. And the hint again is the fact that it has the same name as the class name. So this part of the encapsulation activity is I think it's straightforward if you just follow what you learned in the videos, the notes that you took, the discussions that we had. In the next part, which is actually moving on to the second part of this, in which we're going to be using a driver, you might have to make different decisions. And so that will kind of lead you more into how encapsulation works, why we want it, and why it's useful. Okay, so hopefully you can answer this easily and quickly, because it's not a complicated question. Do not overthink it. It's pretty much what you have done already. It's just that it's going to lead you into the part in which we're using a driver. Make sure you take screenshots in which Bobby will be on the right side, on the left side, sometimes on part A, sometimes in part B, and sometimes in question 3, sometimes in question number 4. And there are subtle differences, but I want you to think about it. All right? And again, like I said before, somewhere in here, make sure you do ask me questions. It's part of the lesson. It's interactive. It's assessing you in a way, because this is something that we cover, something that you watch in the video, in the videos, and also something that you should have processed while you did your notes. But I can answer questions if you have questions. If you're not sure, if you're not confident, if you're not fully aware and fully understood what encapsulation is. All right, I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to make another one for the second part.